we'll be chaining 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and that chain 3 is acting as a triple crochet.
Hi guys, welcome back to ladensercrochets. If you're new to the channel, my name is Liz. You're welcome. Kindly subscribe and join the family. In this tutorial, we're making this oversized mesh top. You can make it to fit you or you can make it oversized. It's all up to you. Get your materials and let's get into the tutorial and enjoy as much as I did.
These are the stitches that you need to know before you start working this project. The first stitch is the slip knot. So what you do is you need to twist your yarn like that. Put your hook into this gap that is created when you twist the yarn and grab the longer side of the yarn. Then you have this shorter end remaining there, and then fasten. That's a slip knot. The next stitch that you're going to need to know is the chain stitch, and you yarn over, pull your hook through the loop on the hook. That's the first chain. Yarn over, pull through the loop to get a second chain. Yarn over, pull through the loop to get a third chain. Yarn over, pull through. That's the 4th, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then when you come into the end or the beginning of every row, we'll be chaining 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and that chain 3 is acting as a triple crochet. As you can see, I'm holding the last chain that I did. You also need to know how to work a triple crochet, and to work a triple crochet, you're going to yarn over once, yarn over twice, insert your hook into a stitch that you're working, yarn over, pull up a loop to get 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through another 2 loops that follow, then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. That's a triple crochet. I'll show you that one more time. Yarn over once, yarn over for the second time, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. So now this is a row of triple crochets. The other stitch that we need to know is the single crochet stitch. To work a single crochet, we start by chaining 1 and turn, and then we begin in the very first stitch. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. That's a single crochet. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop to get 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the 2. Insert your hook into the third chain stitch to get 2 loops, then yarn over, pull through, then work all through. So those are the basic stitches that you need to learn before you get into this tutorial, and once you've learned the stitches, we can start working the top. This is the yarn that I'm using today. It's Milk Cotton Super Saver, and it recommends a 2.5 millimeter to a 3 millimeter. It's a 4-ply yarn with a thickness of 250, I think, but I'll be using a 4 millimeter crochet hook because I do not want my stitches too tight. I got this yarn from Osona Yarns, and it's very soft, super soft, and I can't wait to see how this project turns out with it. Then, like I've mentioned, I'll use my 4 millimeter crochet hook. I'll need stitch markers, at least 2, a darning needle, a pair of scissors, and a measuring tape. To work the top, you need your measurements, the measurement of the bust and the full length of your top. My bust is, I have a bust of 36 inches, and I'm going to take the 36 and divide it by 2 to get 18, because they're working 2 separate panels. So one panel will be 18 inches, the other one will be 18 inches. The other measurement you need is the full length of the top. Now grab your yarn, then start with a slip knot and chain, make a chain that will give you half of your bust. I'll start by chaining 60 ensure that the chain that you make is a multiple of 2 or a number that is divisible by 2. So I've chained 1, I'll chain up to 60. I have my 60 chains ready. And when you're measuring without stretching, because we are not working a tight top. We work in something that will loosely fit on our body, and without stretching, I'm at 16 and I want to get to 18. I've just worked 60, so I'm going to add 10 more stitches, 10 more chains to see whether I'll get to 18. That's 70 chains. Then again, I'll confirm to see whether I've gotten to 18. And as you can see, without stretching, I'm at 18 inches. That's our starting chain. We are ready to begin row 1. And to begin row 1, we block off this last chain that we've made, then chain 3 more. That will act as our first triple crochet. Then yarn over twice, insert the hook into that chain that we are holding, then grab the loop and do a triple crochet. Then we're going to work 1 triple crochet into each of the chains till we get to the end. At the end, I should have 71 triple crochets. So if you had started with 60 chains, you should end up with 61. That means you're adding 1 more stitch because of the chain 3 that we've worked at the beginning. And your stitch count will become an odd number. I'm done with the first row. To begin row 2, we start by chaining 4. The first chain 3 is a triple crochet, then the 4th chain is the chain 1 in between the stitches, then we turn. After turning, we're going to yarn over twice, skip the first stitch, skip the second, and work into the 3rd with a triple crochet. Then chain 1, yarn over twice, skip the next stitch, and work into the one that follows with a triple crochet. Chain 1, yarn over twice, skip this, work into the next one. Then repeat this pattern to the end. Now at this point, if you counted your stitches correctly, you should chain 1 and your last stitch should be a triple crochet, like that. But it seems like I did not do that, and not to worry. If you did not get your stitch count correctly and you have an extra stitch at the end, which is this stitch right here, what you're going to do is you're just going to yarn over without chaining and work into the 3rd chain with a triple crochet. So I'm supposed to have one last triple crochet at the end, but then I have two, and I'm just going to work with them like that. So anytime I come to this end, I'll work 2 triple crochets without chaining in between the two, because it seems like I did not get my stitch count correct. Then we're going to chain 4. Actually, we're going to chain 3. On this side, where we have the 2 triple crochets, you'll chain 3. If you have just 1 at the end, you're going to chain 4 and then turn. So I'll chain 3 and turn. That is our first triple crochet in the very first stitch. Then I'll yarn over twice and work a second triple crochet into that second stitch. But then if you had gotten your stitch count correct, you would have chained 4, and then you'll yarn over twice and skip the first gap, then work a triple crochet into the previous triple crochet like that, then chain 1, triple crochet into the next triple crochet like that. But then for those of us who have made a mistake in the stitch count, we'll just chain 3, turn, work a triple crochet into the next triple crochet, then chain 1 now, triple crochet into the previous triple crochet, chain 1, triple crochet next, chain 1, another triple crochet, chain 1, and then we repeat to the end. At the end, we have this last stitch remaining, so you're going to chain 1, then yarn over twice, count 1 stitch, then work into the second chain, which is the chain 3 from the bottom, 1, 2, and 3. Complete your row 3 with a triple crochet right there. Then we chain 3 to begin row 4 and turn. Row 4 is going to be a row of solid triple crochets without the chains. So the first chain 3 acts as the triple crochet in the first stitch, this one. Then we're going to yarn over twice and work in the gap, in the chain 1 gap, work a triple crochet. Then work a triple crochet onto this next triple crochet. Then yarn over twice, work a triple crochet into the chain 1 gap, yarn over twice, work a triple crochet into the previous triple crochet, then into the gap, and repeat to the end. So at the end, we're going to place our last stitch into the chain 3. And that's the end of row 4. We're going to chain 4, and turn to begin row 5. And we're going to work row 5 the same as row 2. Row 6 will be the same as row 3. And row 7 will be the same as row 4. And we'll keep alternating these rows until we get the full length of the top. So after chaining 4, yarn over twice, skip the first stitch and the second, work into the third. Chain 1, yarn over twice, skip the next stitch, and work a triple crochet next. So now work your row 2, which is row 5, then work row 6, row 7, and I'll meet you once I have the full length of my top. So we are repeating these 3 rows. We had started them on this side, so we are repeating row 2, row 3, row 4. Right here, I've done a total of 19 rows, and you want to make sure that your last row is a solid row of the triple crochets without the chains in between. And I've gotten to my full length. The full length of the top that I'm working is 15 inches. So the 19 rows get me to the 15 inches mark. And at the end of that last row, I'm just going to chain one, get the pair of scissors and cut off the end, but I'll leave a longer end for joining the shoulders or the shoulder part of the top, like that. Then I'm going to make another panel completely identical to this, which I already have, and this is what we have right here. Now you want to place these two panels side by side such that this is the wrong side of the first panel and this is the right side. Then you're going to get the other panel and place it such that you have, this is the right side facing the other right side, like this. And then you're going to get your darning needle. I get my darning needle and I'm going to join the shoulder part. And for the shoulder part, I'm only going to join for 10 stitches. So from here, this is the first stitch and the first stitch on the other side. I'm just going to join those two. Then I'll move on to the second stitch on this side, the second stitch on the other side, and sew them together. Then move on to the third stitch and the third on the other side, and then join until I have joined for 10 stitches. That's the 10th stitch. So in that last stitch, I'll put a knot. And tighten up. Then weave in the end that remains into the stitches. To just weave it in to secure that end. And once you're satisfied that the end is well hidden, you can cut off whatever remains. So now get the pair of scissors and cut that off. Then get the darning needle and move on to the other side and attach again for 10 stitches on that other side. The shoulder part of the top is joined, and this is the neckline, which is kind of like an off shoulder. Then hold your work like this, get the measuring tape and measure out 9 inches from the top. You can measure between 7 to 9 inches depending on the length of your, on the size of your arm. So now from here, I'll measure out the 9 inches or 8, whatever works for you. So I'll just measure on one side and count the same number of rows on the other side. So from the shoulder part, I'm measuring 9 while stretching a little bit. This is the 9-inch mark, and that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 rows. So I'm just going to count 9 rows on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I'll mark using the same stitch marker. I'll mark them together like that. So that's creating the armhole of our top. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Get the stitch marker and count 9 rows on either side. So I've marked the 9-inch mark on the other side, and then we're going to start joining from the bottom to this point. So I'll turn my work like this and then get my hook, insert it into that first row and on the first row on the other side, then grab the yarn. So get the yarn and place it on the hook, leave in a shorter end, then pull it through. So we have this end and this other end that was already there. I'm going to work over those 2 ends. So to start, you need to make sure that you're working with the longer end and working over the shorter ends. So right there, chain 1 and go back into that very first row, place a single crochet right there. Into the same row, place another single crochet and place a third single crochet into the same row. We're done with that row. We skip over to the next row. Ensure that you're joining those 2 corresponding rows with 3 single crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. Then we move on to the third rows. We join them with 3 single crochets. Then keep going till you get where the stitch marker is. I'm in the last row just before the stitch marker, and I'll place the 3 single crochets, then pull out the stitch marker. And now we're going to work the rows to the top, but we're going to work from the right side of the top like this. So instead of, I'm working the rows separately, so instead of working on this row, I'll work on the row on the other side. So right here, I'll place 3 single crochets. I'm doing an edging on the sleeve part. I'll then skip over to the next row and place 3 single crochets into it. 3 single crochets into the next row, into the next one. I'm at the top, and once I get to the top, I'll work in between the rows with 1 single crochet. Then that will take me to the other side, this other side, and I'll just work the 3 single crochets into each row till I get to the armpit part of the top. I'm in the last row, and once I get into that last row, to complete, I'll work a slip stitch into the very first stitch on the row on the other side. So do a slip stitch right there, then chain 1 and cut off the yarn, leaving an end that we're going to weave in, then pull through and fasten. And this side is joined, so I'll just get my darning needle and weave in this end. Just put the needle in between the stitches. Then after that, I'll cut off the end that remains. We have that part. Then I'll move to the other side, just turn to the other side, reconnect the yarn at the beginning in the first row, and work this side the same way I've joined this other side. After joining the other side, I'll just turn my work to the right side, and at this point we are done. I'm done with the top, and yeah, you can go on, try it on and see whether you're going to love it. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the tutorial. If you've enjoyed it, kindly leave a like, a comment, share, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and see you in the next tutorial.